All right, the school year is several weeks old, and maybe you've noticed that since classes have started back, your little one isn't behaving quite the same way. Now, it doesn't always mean that there's something wrong with them or that they're going through something. Something could be bothering their teacher. Joining me this morning to talk about how a teacher's mood can affect them is Dr. Jessica Garret from the Birmingham Maple Clinic. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, what types of changes might you see in a student who has a teacher who is dealing with some sort of stress?
Yeah, so teachers that are dealing with depression, oftentimes what we'll see in the student is we can see internalizing behavior problems. That would be more anxiety, more social withdrawal, or externalizing behavior problems. And that would be more temper outburst and difficulty with emotional regulation.
So how do you know when there's an issue with your child or that there's an issue that's external?
Sure. And that's a great question. Oftentimes they're so interlinked that it can be hard to differentiate what is the children's issue and what is the teacher's issue. But we see it affected academically and socially and emotionally as well.
Would you think, and I don't know how long it takes, if we can see some of those behavioral issues now after a couple of weeks, would having your child at home for one of the breaks, let's say a longer break, would you expect to see those issues perhaps subside?
Sure. And if it happened to be a classroom issue or a teacher who's depressed, and oftentimes what we see, what research shows us is that, among the general population, depression is around 18%.
Okay.
We'll see a lifetime prevalence rate. In the teaching profession, because it's such a stressful position, it's a 25% rate. So there's a significant increase in that.
Okay, so let's say you believe that it is an issue with your teacher or with your child's teacher. How do you have that conversation with them? It can be an awfully tough, touchy subject.
Absolutely. And oftentimes what we'll say is, if you are thinking that it could be the teacher and you're experiencing, some thoughts that it could be this depression issue, to go to your principal, to go to a program director, and just realize that it's not the teacher's fault, that this is oftentimes something they're dealing with, and that can be helped with some cognitive reframing and some therapy like we do at Birmingham Maple.
And so the teacher will have to deal with this. Do you speak to other parents if you're a parent to see if other parents are having an issue with their child?
Absolutely, that would be a great idea, because you want to make sure that it's not just your child, but that it's kind of the classroom environment, because what we see with teacher depression is that it affects the whole school climate, it affects academics. There was a recent study done that said students who were performing poorly in math were the most affected. So we see our most vulnerable students affected by this.
All right. Dr. Jessica Garret from the Birmingham Maple Clinic,
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
It's a really fascinating issue.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again. Time now for Cool Clips. Guys, back to you.
All right.